Hey, my country people, wetin wan happen for this our country Nigeria so e never happen before. But if na true say this thing wey wan happen for this country so, say e go happen, oh, that be say Nigeria don better finish. A whole president-elect go jail for 14 years because of lie when he lie against things for this country. Oh my God. Make una watch this video, make una hear wetin the truth of wetin happen. The person wey leak the secret, he don come back and talk. He will tell us say court go give us good judgment for this one. TINÜBÜ go jail, go serve 14 years for imprisonment. Make una watch this video, make una watch it on time. Make una watch.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Over the weekend, or in the past few days, social media has been abuzz with the hashtags, of course, as a result of your leak and the documents that you have purportedly leaked. Now, I think I'll start from the back and then we get to the front. Your account has currently been suspended as a result of this. Tell us, first of all, why you are handling this, how you are handling all of this, and why the investigation into the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, or in this case, the president-elect.
Okay, so let me start from the issue with my account being suspended. It hasn't actually been suspended; it's just been temporarily locked, which is what happens when a certain number of accounts reports a post of yours, and then Twitter automatically responds by locking your account and then gives you the choice to either delete the content and immediately regain your account, which I can still do if I want, or to go through the appeal process if one believes one hasn't done anything wrong. In this case, I clearly haven't done anything wrong because according to Twitter's own platform policies, the policy on privacy of information doesn't apply when the subject is a public figure and when the post is done in the public interest, which is what this is. Now, what has happened here is I actually got hold of this document quite a number of months ago. I wasn't able to put it out at the time because there was a fear that it might be traceable back to the source. I was told by the source that I should give a certain period of time before putting this out there, which is why I waited until a few days ago to put this out. And what this document proves beyond any conclusive shred of doubt, of reasonable doubt, is that the president-elect has in fact committed the crime of perjury, which is lying under oath. Now, on his INEC EC9 declaration, which is essentially a sworn affidavit stating one's intention to run for president, there are several questions that are asked on the affidavit. One of them is, have you ever obtained citizenship of another country? And on the INEC EC9 form, he ticked no. Now, this document proves that he has in fact obtained citizenship of at least one other country that we know of, which happens to be Guinea. Now, one can have several theories as to why, in the first place, what he was doing with the Guinean diplomatic passports in the first place, but that's not the issue. The issue is simply that he did not declare this on his EC9 declaration. He told a lie on his sworn declaration, which is the crime, which constitutes the crime of perjury. On the same EC9 form, there are at least on at least 3 other instances on the form. There are other things which can arguably be constituted as perjury, but this is by far the most obvious one, which is why I think it has elicited the kind of reaction that it has. If there's something close to well, I won't call it a regret, but the ongoing presidential election petitions, which have been lodged by the 2 main opposition candidates, Abubakar Atiku and Peter Obi, for whatever reason, haven't made direct mention of this issue. One would hope that maybe they might be able to add this issue in, because the point is, if one is going to become president of Nigeria, then the process by which one becomes president of the country must be valid. Now, if the INEC EC9 declaration with which one declared one's intention to run for president has fraudulent information on it, has false information on it on sworn statement, then what that simply means is that the person who has filled in that false information under oath is not just unqualified to run for president. Under Nigerian law, perjury is a very serious offense that attracts 14 years in prison. So these are issues that the Nigerian court system must answer.
David, what do you expect, would be the response? I know you would definitely not speak for them, but I've seen interviews where, for example, the former governor of Lagos State, was asked, similar question concerning the Guinean citizenship, and he seemingly answered a different question. And there's also been some type of distraction between what exactly your points are, which are perjury. Some people have tried to make it he could be disqualified from running from, being president-elect, or some of all of that because he has double citizenship or dual citizenship, which of course Constitution clearly states that you cannot have if you're going to be president, some of all of that. So what do you expect will be the response or the outcome of some of all of this, And I'm saying that also because we've seen in the build up to the elections, before people even went out to vote, that you had put out, other report, investigative work that didn't seem to deter a lot of Nigerians from whatever decision they were going to make, towards the election. So how do you think this will turn out? The reaction, first of all, from the APC and from, the president-elect's camp, and generally what this would end as?
So first of all, I don't expect that there will be a reaction or a direct reaction from the APC. Judging from what the reaction was, in fact, which was to report my Twitter account, it seems to me that what the APC is going to do is just stick their fingers in their ears and hope that people stop talking about it and hope that it goes away. Bear in mind that this isn't the first time that I specifically have raised the issue of perjury. I published a story about it in November, which wasn't focused on this particular instance of perjury. But as I said, there were several other instances of perjury on the INEC EC9 declaration. I put forward evidence in that article, for example, that the Chicago State University certificate, which is submitted with INEC EC9 declaration, was in fact a forgery. And on the INEC EC9 declaration, one of the questions asked is, have you submitted a forged certificate to INEC? He takes no. I presented very compelling evidence that what he submitted to INEC was blatantly a forgery. So after I put the story out in November, there was a very, very, very loud and pointed silence from the camp of the APC because there was simply no defense. And I don't expect this time to be any different. I don't expect them to come out and actually attempt to address this directly because, again, there is simply no defense. It is very cut and dried what has happened here. What I suspect will happen is more people will continue doing what the outgoing Minister of Works did in his most recent TV appearance, where he sort of obfuscated the issue and started sort of raising a related issue, which is more or less a red herring, which is the issue of whether under the Constitution someone with dual nationality is allowed to run for president. The reason I call that a red herring is that there is actually it's a legal gray area. So there is, I believe, Section 38 of the Constitution, which states that someone who is running for president is not allowed to have dual citizenship, except they had that citizenship from birth. That if you obtained citizenship, then you're not allowed to run for president of Nigeria. However, there is case law precedent which states something different, which states that as long as you have Nigerian citizenship, the fact of having dual citizenship does not supersede your right as someone with Nigerian citizenship to run for president. So, which is why I said it's a bit of a red herring, right? Because you can argue back and forth all day, but the real issue for me is the fact that there has been a very, very clear and obvious instance of perjury, something which is clear and obvious even to a legal layperson, that this person has lied under oath.
I mean, you've highlighted that really there's going to be some back and forth as regards Section 28 sub 1 and Section 137 sub 1, and what the court interprets these to mean, as well as the cases that have been established before. Let's talk about you, David. There are some who think that this might have been a case of a personal vendetta that you might have against not just the president-elect, but against the political party of the All Progressives Congress. What are your reactions to that?
Well, my reaction is the same as it always is, which is that have I presented evidence or not to back up my claims? Have I said something that is true or not? Have I told the truth or have I told a lie? So far in my 4+ years of independent frontline investigative journalism, there is yet to be a single instance where someone has successfully proven that something I put forward in a story or something, a story that I have broken is false in any way, or has successfully taken me to courts or anything like that. That is yet to happen in just over 4 years of practice. So I think that tells a story on its own. So if anyone believes that this is the product of a personal vendetta or whatever, again, I think of that as a red herring. I think of that as a distraction, because the real issue is it true or is it not true? I presented evidence. I have presented evidence in this case. So the question is, that Guinean diplomatic passport, is that document authentic or not? That's the question the APC should be answering.